Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've streamed due to a few travels, but now I'm back and I'm very excited to have been invited by the New Jersey State Chess Federation to cover their 140th Anniversary Invitational. I think this is going to be a fun event to watch, and they have 10 very strong grandmasters who have had an impact in the state for many years, and of course, it's very nice to know that you know the I'm learning new things by having been invited to do commentary for this tournament that they're they have been creating events for 140 years, which is amazing, and is the state where for many of you who are passionate about chess history, you may know Wilhelm Steinitz moved when he moved from Europe. He lived in New Jersey. Capablanca has studied there, and of course, quite a few other notable names in the world of chess have been. So I was very excited, very thankful to the organizers and the president, Mr. Anand Mishra, for having me here. So the next few days, you will be seeing me comment on this tournament. The grandmasters who are part of this event are Grandmaster Olivier Barbosa, Maxim Delugi, John Fedorovich, Durabek Karamkulov, Alexander Lenderman, Mackenzie Molnar, Mark Paragua, Michael Rode, Alexander Sripolsky, and one big fan favorite, I would say, last but not least, Grandmaster Andrew Tang. So some very important names in the chess scene, not just New Jersey, but also in the United States. And their games have started a bit earlier. So without further ado, we can get started. So for the first round, we have Grandmaster Andrew Tang playing against Grandmaster Michael Rode. If you guys have any issues with anything, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to let me know. So, okay, so in their game, we had a Nimzo Indian with Queen C2. Actually, I used to play this line myself with white, and I quite liked it. I gotta say, for many years, this has been one of my favorite lines to play. But growing up, actually, I preferred more this line with E3, and it seemed to be something very, how to say, it was simple for me. You know, when my dad showed me this the first time, I thought it's the simplest thing that one can learn because it gave me a clear plan. So I remember he was showing me these ideas after E3, black was castling, and then what he was telling me to do was to play A3 next, and when black was capturing, to recapture with a pawn, and then I would have somewhat of a simple plan with bishop D3, knight E2 G3, castling, bringing this rook over here, and then starting pushing the pawns in the center. Now, of course, for when you're first starting and you know that is your plan and you can kind of go easy on things, of course you like to know what to do. But as you get to become stronger, a lot of the times these ideas, you realize they don't work as great in real life. So with time, that was not my style anymore, so I changed it. But I do remember my sister really liked that, and I wonder how many of you know who is the person to be thankful or to thank for this kind of setup or these kinds of ideas. And well, I will also answer the question. It is the former world champion Mikhail Botvinnik, he was the one who came up with these kinds of ideas, these ideas with knight e2 also. In the Queen's Gambit exchange variation, those are the kind of ideas that we see they go back in time to him. Now, of course, these days, when you're playing this line, bishop takes e3, b takes e3, black immediately attacks the center. So the plans with e4 eventually will fade away because black will get d5 in, break through the center, get the knight out, b6, bishop b7, or bishop a6. Sometimes this pawn can also be a weakness. So it's not so easy to get to do that much. Hi there, Kajuda, welcome. But it is still a line that is played quite a lot these days, just not with a3 immediately, but rather bishop d3. White can wait a few more moves to see whether black is going to play with d5, d6, b6, c5, as a way to kind of know exactly how the pawn structure is going to be set. And once you know how it's going to be set, then you can proceed with ideas of knight e2 or something different. So here, instead, Grandmaster Andrew Tank went for queen c2, black castled, and knight f3. And of course, this is going to remind some of you who have followed me a little bit of a very famous game of mine that I played with the black pieces in the year that I won the US Women's Championship. Where I played knight a6, and my opponent has played this move c6. This is proven to have helped me in that year to win the championship. I think it's a beautiful game of mine where I was able to really show dominance. I captured with this pawn, and then I followed through with d5, and then eventually my pawns ended up advancing so much that white was stripped of all its space, and then I was able to eventually finish off with a tactical idea. But c6 has been played by others too, but most people tend to play this line with g3 or a3 in this position to try to force black to make up its mind whether it's going to capture the knight in c3 or capture here. But then it doesn't make so much sense to play the knight in a6, because, you know, if you place the knight there, then you know, why are you even bothering to place the knight there if you'll capture with the bishop, right? So black usually captures, and then there's this line knight takes c5, b4, knight e4, queen d4, and I've played this a few times in my life with the white pieces, and I felt that white's relatively comfortable, followed by bishop b2, and then you want to try to get the rook on the d file for when black will push the pawn, maybe g3, bishop g2, or if you have the ability to play e3, bishop d3, then that would be even better. But, you know, that is one way to approach the situation. Or you can play like Andrew did, which was g3, letting black capture this pawn, and then bishop g2. Now in this line, I've tried it too with the white pieces. The idea is black, you know, because in every opening there is a very important key square typically, right? So in the Nimzo Indian, it's always the e4 square. White attempts to take control over it, usually by trying to push e4. As for black, they try to stabilize a piece there, usually a knight, which is going to be very unpleasant. But here, white castled, and then there's this line where basically white allows the doubling of the pawns, and it seems positionally unsound. However, with these pawns, oftentimes, if we manage to get c5 in eventually, black will struggle with the development of the bishop in c8. So I'm actually curious to see, because I haven't played this line since 2007 or 8. I thought it was not really giving white that much, so I'm actually curious to see what Grandmaster Andrew Tank brings to the table in this line. We'll have to keep up with this game. The current position where they're at now is after e4, d6. He has played the move e5. So far still, you know, there have been games played. I remember myself have been playing this. I think this is a move. Knight e8 is a move. Oh, yeah, and those are the two moves that I'm aware of. So we'll have to kind of to come back and see what's going on there. Hi there, Stephen. How are you doing? Made it home safely? Ready to play some chessy? Some next tournament? Okay. So, ready to not play chess. Oh, okay, that was not the answer I was looking for. Well, ready to train some chess then, maybe. Train to be ready for the next one, right? Next one is the more important one. Okay, let's catch up with the next board. And we have Grandmaster Max Delugi playing against John Fedorovich, Grandmaster John Fedorovich. And they started into an interesting London. Okay, Grandmaster Max Delugi is typically playing. I mean, I've seen him play the London a lot. That's another way to put it. Okay. B6, E3. And knight F3, D6, H3. So very, very solid approach by black. He's not playing G6 yet, but eventually he will play it because you do need to develop that bishop somewhere, and E5 is not possible with this setup. So he is playing it next. Okay, G6. So we have an interesting setup, kind of like hedgehog style position against the London. I'm not quite sure how that's going to pan out, because white is just going to get a lot of ideas here, I think. I think there's gonna be a lot of ideas. A takes B6, C takes B6, bishop H2. Okay, so how do we feel about this position? I would say pretty balanced, if you ask me. I mean, black has gotten a C file, which, okay, will be stopped. There won't be anything going on there because white possibly will play C3. This pawn will probably go to A5 to avoid being a target. It's an interesting setup. We often see people responding to the London with D5 stuff or King's Indian completely and then trying to get E5 or C5. But here, things have taken another route, actually. It's a very interesting route. I don't know about necessarily considering that black didn't play G6 yet, but it was quite obvious that he would. I'm not sure if H3 was really necessary, in my opinion. I mean, I would change my mind and I would go with C4 and try to get a bit more space. Considering no pawn has been pushed here, and now, of course, if you're going to go C5, I will go D5 in this situation. Now your bishop is locked in. But, okay, this is a matter of preference to, of course, H3, and the players have played relatively fast. The time control for the tournament is 1 hour 30, with 30 seconds increment, 1 hour 30 for 40 moves, and then 30 minutes for the end of the game. The hedgehog just feels like it must sit around. Well, you don't really see... Yeah, you kind of get your pieces ready to break through eventually, yeah. I mean, it just takes a bit of time, but yeah. But with white, you can try to take advantage of the fact that black is not trying much, so you can definitely try some c4. 92. I'm actually surprised he didn't. And I don't know, this h3 just... I just feel like I want to consider playing h4, h5 directly. Why waste the time with h3? I like a4, but I don't know. a5 and taking in b6, maybe I wouldn't do personally. Because I feel that it gives black a bit of space. I mean, keep the pawn here for the option whenever they go c5, you can go a5, I guess. St. Louis Chess Club, thank you so much for the raid. Be sure to follow St. Louis Chess Club. Currently, the US Championship and US Women's Championship are taking place. Great commentary happening there, so if you haven't tuned in, be sure to do so. Thank you so much for the raid. And yeah, so I'm currently doing commentary for the 140th anniversary of the New Jersey State Chess Federation. So they are organizing this invitational round robin, 10 grandmasters from who have impacted the state have been invited, so we are covering the tournament daily. It started today. This is the round 1, and it's gonna go all the way till the end of the weekend with 2 rounds every day. 12:30 and 6 p.m. is when I'll go live daily, and then Sundays a bit earlier from 10, I believe, and 4:30. 10 a.m. and 4:30. So hopefully we'll see you here after you follow the US Championships. Catch up who's going to win it all. So yeah, so I don't know, this a4, a5, I'm not sure if I want to go all the way till there, but I mean, you know, this is just my opinion. I have a different style than Grandmaster Delugi, so he's more aggressive to my knowledge. So we'll see how he's going to be able to build up the attack in this game. Catching up with next board, because, you know, I started, the game started earlier than I thought for the first round. So Grandmaster Alexander Serpunsky, I haven't seen him in a long time. And Grandmaster Olivier Barbosa. So we have a Caro-Kann, one of my specialties, I would say. Can I say that? I don't know. I played occasionally myself with black. Had decent results, but, you know, it's not easy these days. Sicilians are definitely the kind of openings you want to be familiar with as well. Okay, so we have an advanced variation, bishop f5, h4. This is relatively an aggressive line. And of course, if you make this blunder, please do not make this blunder, because you're going to find yourself without the bishop after g4, right? You can attempt to save it, but nope, it's not happening. So please don't make the blunder. That's all I'm going to say. Of course, h5 is the best move in my opinion here. Bishop d3 takes. And knight f3. Actually, he played d6 immediately. Interesting. Okay. So I've tried queen a5 on a number of occasions here with black. And I think this line is kind of nice because it forces white to make up their mind whether they'll play c3, though normally they want to play c4, so this would be like a success for black. Knight d2 or bishop d2. Now, if they put a bishop in d2, queen a6, we're offering a queen trade, and now if you go c4, I think you're not ready to support the pawn there, so we can actually take it immediately or play e6 first, and then we want to take it, and the bishop in d2 is not well placed. So that's the reason why in that position white has to go knight d2, and with this move white locks in the bishop in c1, and now we can play queen a6 first or e6 first, and then knight f3 and queen a6. So the idea is we're trying to trade pieces because we're lacking space, and any trades should be in our favor. And like I said, the knight in d2 now is protecting c4, so you cannot just capture, but this bishop is locked in. And then black should be able to proceed with the development with knight h6, f5, bishop e7, knight d7. Eventually we do want to break through with c5, but these are typically some ways for black to get I think equality in the position, with queen a5 just basically asking white a question. But I see Grandmaster Barbosa decided to go for e6 first, and I think it shouldn't matter too much, though bishop g5 is an option. And I gotta tell you, when I first learned this line a few years back, because I was playing something different, I did try to play e6 myself on a number of occasions, and I lost a few games with this bishop g5 idea because the bishop wasn't locked in, and I was like, how is the line? Did I misjudge things? And I was still playing the same thing, but actually the same thing doesn't work so great because the bishop here is actually going to be unpleasant and will be capturing the bishop in e7. Of course, as black, you don't want to trade that bishop. That's your good bishop. That's the dark square bishop is the bishop you want to keep, because you have all the pawns on the light square, right? So you want to keep that bishop, and so, you know, allowing that bishop to be traded would be, of course, not ideal. But there's some ways to be playing here, I think, with queen b6, which gives black some different kind of play instead of trying to trade the queens to kind of go for b2. But I'm not quite sure how I feel about definitely not capturing that pawn. I wouldn't recommend c5, knight c6, but it's going to be a different game here. But the players got into the line I suggested after a different move order. So knight f3 was played first, and now check. Okay, so now we're back to what my suggestion was, trying to trade. White is not trying to trade. Okay, b3. So the problem with this kind of situation for white, even though they got so much space, is the fact that the queen is unprotected. So they can't go c5, which they would probably love to. They would love to start marching these pawns forward and just restricting black on the queen side. But their queen is not protected, and it's not so easy to come up with the right kind of way to protect it. You need a few moves to make that happen. So that's why b3 is played, and now a4. White is attempting the trade of the bishops. Once the bishops are traded, then even the rook here could be a great defender, and maybe we can go b4. So knight d7. So far, I think it's still theory. I've seen quite a lot of games after bishop a3. I'm anticipating, and this trade, in my opinion, has to happen. Rook takes, and now castle. So white is slightly better, in my opinion, in this position, but we'll have to come back and see exactly how it pans out for the players. But so far, very interesting opening. So we had a Nimzo Indian, we had this Karakan, and we had that London with an interesting Pirk kind of hedgehog setup. Okay. All right, this game looks like it may not last too long, although you never know. We had a real pet. Well, Berlin technically. Knight f6, castle, knight takes e4. There's a typical line, takes. It's not the main one, right? The main... the one a lot of us are worried about. Knight takes. Yeah, bishop e7. I've played this line with black once or twice when I attempted learning the Berlin, but it was a bit too symmetrical for my taste personally. Of course, many of us are familiar with this line. Sorry. One of my favorite games to show is actually this game of Laskers. It's a classic, Porgish Lasker. If you haven't seen that game, highly recommend checking it out. It is in this line, and you're going to love it. So Porgish against Lasker. Great game to see in this line. Rook e1. Hi there, Anit. Welcome. Knight e5, knight takes e5. Okay, so it's a relatively, it's really funny. Okay, I gotta say this story. Hopefully I will not make anyone upset about this, but before the stream, Grandmaster Paragua's name was showing up as another very famous grandmaster for some reason, who happens to play the Berlin as well. So I wonder if there was some influence going on there. It is kind of funny. It was what Grandmaster Wesley saw, and I was like, oh, this is not the way it should be. Grandmaster Wesley saw is competing in another tournament. Okay, c3, rook takes e1, queen takes e1. Trades, bishop f4. All right, so how are you feeling about this? Are you feeling that there's going to be a fight, or is this game going to be a draw? Now, I'm not trying to make anyone upset, of course, but who's playing for a win here? That's my question. Who's playing for a win? Is someone playing for a win? I don't think so. Okay, hopefully Grandmaster, none of these Grandmasters will be watching my stream and being like, Sabina, how dare you say that we are not fighting? I didn't say that, but this position looks way too symmetrical. I mean, of course, that's how the line goes. You can't, once you are in the line, you can't really escape it. You know, bishop f6 is theory, rook e1, and you kind of have to go for this. Because with black, you know, you need to equalize first, right? But I don't know. I guess black can try to keep the queens on the board, potentially. I'm not sure. It looks a bit drawish. Yeah, I think it looks a bit drawish. That's what I was saying, but okay, we'll see. We'll see if we'll have some more fight in that game. This is gonna be an interesting one between Grandmaster Mackenzie Molnar and Grandmaster Alexander Lenderman, both of them. Very strong Grandmasters. I played both of them. So let us see. French, huh? Interesting. Okay. Bishop d7, bishop e2, knight g7. I haven't played this line in forever. All theoretical. Okay, for those of you who are wondering, what is going on, well, usually in this pawn structure, a lot of the times we see queen b6. Queen b6 is one of the main lines that the black plays in the French. Bishop d7, queen b6, or queen b6 directly. The idea is to put pressure on d4 and also keep pressure on b2 to restrict white from developing the bishop. But there are some other plans you can do as well. You can delay the development of the queen and try to get the knight out. But you have to be mindful on how you take it out. Of course, if you have the queen in b6, and then depending on which line white plays, if we attempt to do the same thing with bishop e2, you cannot just take the knight out immediately, because then you might be dealing with this capture here. So you kind of have to go c takes, pawn takes, and then develop the knight if you wish to do so. But then by doing that, white has freed up the square c3 for their own knight, so they can take their knight out in c3 instead of a3. If we go on this line instead, like Linderman has done, bishop d7, bishop e2, when we go here, if white chooses to capture, there's no queen to be attacked, so this pawn is eventually going to fall, or this pawn is going to fall. We are not worried that one of those pawns is not going to fall. Now the knight goes to g6, so we have double attack there. We can put additional attack with queen c7. This pawn is also under threat, so you cannot really protect e5, so you're going to go bishop e3 to protect this. Then black captures, and these positions, personally, I prefer them with black. Because, okay, trade, castle, bishop e7, and I think, black's position is relatively, fine. So, in this position, white could have tried to castle first and wait to see where is it that you're going to place the knight, because you can put it in f5 to put pressure here, or you can put it in g6. Now with the knight in g6, sometimes black has to be a bit mindful about potential ideas with h4, h5. So if you play g3 first, then h4, h5, because h4 directly, I'm afraid that pawn could be lost faster potentially. Maybe even right now, because bishop g5 doesn't work, right? Because of a small little tactic, capture, and then we take. So knight g6. Thanks, conscious. So yeah, so we're trying to be mindful about these pushes. Now we play g3 first, and then h4, h5. So you can ask me, okay, why he didn't castle? I don't know why he didn't castle. He chose to play knight a3 instead. It's just a different option. In the opening, a lot of the times I get this question by my students, or people who are coming on stream. Which one is the best move in this position? And it's quite early in the game. It's really still the opening stage, and there's really no good answer that I can give you, because there's a lot of moves that are good. You just need to see what's good for you. It's kind of like, in real life, like, there are tons of things we can eat, for example, right? But you gotta choose what you like. What's gonna make you happy. So here, knight a3, knight c2 is probably what Molnar has in mind. And then, all right, hope we'll see you again soon. Consciousness. Yeah, knight a3, knight c2, or that. Okay, takes. Why this takes happens? Well, the knight has moved, right? So we know it's not going to go to c3, so this is the right moment to capture. And knight f5, putting pressure. Knight c2, f6. So black has decided not to go for queen b6 yet, though this is a very typical placement of the queen and very typical for this position as well. but he wants to play differently. By breaking in the center like this, for example, if you choose to capture, black's going to capture with the queen, and the queen is going to put pressure on d4 anyways, but is going to put pressure from f6 instead of b6. I think this also gives sometimes the opportunity of long castling. I'm not sure if it was in this position, but I've seen some games where that was definitely an option. So after castle, we can go bishop d6, and then, you know, we're not necessarily worried about this. There's queen g6, and we can certainly chase this bishop away if we want to try long castle, but short castle should be fine. And with the f-file open, black has quite a lot of nice tactical ideas. You may think French is a boring defense. No. There are some tactical ideas present too, don't you worry. Especially if the f-file gets opened. With a capture here, this knight can move away, and then I've seen some very unpleasant rook sacrifices in f3, weakening the white king, and it can be definitely dangerous. Okay, so bishop d3, bishop e7, castle, bishop takes f5. Okay. I don't know how I feel about the capture here in f5 right now by white. I'm not sure if I feel it should be happening just yet. I was thinking bishop f4, but he chose to take. I presume he wants to go now rook e1. Oh, okay, this trade I know looks a bit sus, so let's discuss it. Why would white want to give up this powerful bishop? This is white's heart of the game, let's say, heart of the opening, because this bishop is creating unpleasant ideas towards the king, and of course is white's good bishop. Why is white considering to take the knight? Because of the pressure there's gonna happen in the center and on d4. So they choose to take, and okay, it's not about the doubling of the pawns, because obviously these two pawns will be traded left sooner or later, and there will be no double pawns. But maybe this is going to be an issue, so white can try to think of ways to take advantage of that. So I'd start with rook e1 probably, like I said, and then we need to get this bishop out. I mean, I would put it in f4. Queen. One of these two squares and rook can come out. Something like this is definitely an idea to consider. But the game is still early in its opening stages. I mean, anything can happen, right? Like, it's still very early to tell, I think. Cool. Chess Riddle, hi there, welcome. Okay, so we've seen a few more moves since we left off this game between Andrew Tang and Michael Rode. We stopped after e5. A very interesting Nimzo Indian that I was curious to see what Grandmaster Andrew Tang is bringing to the table on this older, I would say relatively older line. I haven't seen it played for a while. Knight e5, queen a5. Yes, knight e7. Bishop f4. Of course, we can also capture the, but I don't think it's a good idea to take that pawn. What do you guys think? Rook b8, bishop back. You think I sound a bit better? Better than what? Better than when I was sick, when I had my bronchitis thing. Yeah, now I'm sick with something else. I feel like people will think that people will think that I do it on purpose. That I just I get sick and then I come streaming just to kind of show people I'm sick. No. It happens. It happens. Now, I had bronchitis and laryngitis last time that I was streaming. And then it took a while to recover. And I was recovering until, well, a few days ago I went, because my cat got, I didn't know what she had. I thought she got injured. She just had some bad infection on her paw, so I brought her to the emergency vet. And I think probably I just didn't realize the weather change from my last travel, so I think that's how I got sick. But it's okay, like I'm recovering, don't worry. It's okay guys. I'm good. I'm good. If I wouldn't be good, I wouldn't be here. I put my health first. Sometimes. Thanks, Steven. What do you think you should blame? I don't know what you're talking about. I think it was the weather change. How is black going to get the rook c8 maybe? Like this rook or the other rook? I don't. Oh wait, this rook. Maybe there's bishop. Maybe this rook. And queen e2. Or queen d3. Queen d3 is. But if you go queen e2, this pawn is gonna follow. See, like it's not so easy. It's not so easy. So usually white is trying to be mindful because the material is equal. White is not up a pawn, but they got a pretty bad pawn structure. But for that bad pawn structure, they do have slightly better place pieces, somewhat. And supposedly some advance in development, specifically after bishop f4. So I guess he's hoping for a trade so that he can take with the rook, of course, I think. And then we can talk initiative, one of my favorite things ever. Initiative, rook d1. Maybe even something like this. I would really like this for white, I would say. So of course with black you have to come up with a different idea. But knight d7 is not just played there just to trade. Of course, knight c5 is an option, and bishop f6 I think is an option. White's priority is to stop bishop d7. Okay, yeah, sure. So we stop bishop d7 with this bishop f4, right? I mean, and by the way, bishop d7 directly. I mean, probably we would take the bishop here, right? I mean, definitely taking the bishop here. And actually, I don't even care now if I lose this pawn. I mean, probably I can lose both of those pawns if I can get my bishops on those diagonals. I think that'll be very unpleasant. Thanks, José Raúl. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to like, you have to try to get something out of this this situation, I would say, probably. So knight d7, bishop f4 was played. This is the current position that they're having. I like that he didn't consider taking that. So this, considering that, wait, he almost played, okay, he spent 4 minutes on this move. Two minutes on this. This must have been some plan that Andrew Tang had all along. We'll see how Grandmaster Rhodes is gonna answer to it. It's hard to get these pieces out. No, Bishop f6 has to be played, I'm sure. But what do we do now? Because I don't want to take. I don't want to take. Do you guys have any idea what can happen in this position? I mean, maybe now takes. Hi there, Piano James. How are you doing? Thanks for the raid. It's you. How have you been? 94 if I'm being ignorant. Oh, 94 if you're being ignorant. What do you want to do about this pawn? I know you want to be ignorant, but this is not just a pawn. This is a pawn and something else coming after. Oh wow, 24/7 live stream? Wow, that's... So you take like occasional breaks? That's insane. That is insane. I don't know if I can do that. That's how you get... Okay. I mean, no, but there's no need to do that. There's no need. We can protect the knight, or we can capture. We have two options. They are pretty decent, or three options. E4 I don't like because it gives black this opportunity to play knight c5, so maybe we can just go here. And actually, I think this will help me with my initiative. So if I go like rook c1, you'll have to go back. And I don't want to do something with c5. Because I told you guys earlier, in these kinds of positions, you're trying to stop those two pawns from advancing. Now, obviously, this one is gone, but... Okay, I don't think I can go c5 directly, right? Because he might take it. Is he taking it? Because I do have some knight c4, bishop to... Am I going crazy here? Where's this queen going up? I think this looks actually quite nice. It looks quite nice for white. If we're doing initiative, we might as well just give everything, right? Where's the queen going? This looks good. Definitely looks good. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't put the links. You have to send me a private message for that. You can send it to me in a private message and I'll post it. I don't know why I feel like this is good. But what about all these trades? Like, what if they trade everything? How do I feel about this endgame? Okay, let me see what you sent me. Oh, it's a game. Whose game is that? Oh, that's a cute game. I can share it. Can I share it with everyone? Okay, so this was what... That was the... This is a very nice game. Nice attack. Well, here, if this were to happen, we would not get an attack. That's for sure, but... we would get a nice endgame. Where I feel like... I mean, it could peter out to a draw. If this gets out, and then somehow they push you away, try to go rook c8, it might get this pawn, or might... yeah. This could peter out to a draw, but I mean, it's a long way. It's a long, long way from there. And we're having big... You know what? I'm not feeling good for Michael. He has to play faster. I mean, if you guys have heard this name, and I'm sure you have, Grandmaster Andrew Tang, he is very fast. I don't think it's a good idea to get low on time with him under any circumstance. But now he's definitely like doing much better than his opponent, so of course you want to maintain a good position, but yeah, bishop f6 I think has to be played. Because trading, okay, yeah, that's the purpose why you put the knight in d7, one of the purposes, but really allowing this, okay, knight c5 was an alternate idea that I had, but I just don't think this helps bishop d7, like Steven was saying earlier, because this time I will take the bishop pair, and then I will take b7. h5, yes. I believe, Steven. I believe in that idea, sure. But here there are ideas like this too, by the way, for those of you who haven't seen them before. These ideas are very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. You meant in the endgame? Oh, sorry. Oh, you mean the endgame, this endgame? No, this, with the queen e2 line that I showed. Trades everything. This one? Oh. I don't know how that helps, but I would play h4, but I don't know if I'd go all the way till h6. Like, what's the... Okay, maybe, I guess. I guess you could. I was mostly going to focus on b7 and then these pawns. In this one, we would see no attack. Even if you push that pawn, there'll be no attack. He'll just play f6. I'm confused. We will see an attack now after knight c5. Definitely we'll see it. If queens get traded, no, I don't think your h4, h5, h6 would really create that much. Okay, let's go to the next. We attack in spirit. Okay. We attack in spirit if queens are traded. Got it. Okay. Do you remember this position? Like, black was like had not crossed the 6th rank. Well, we are a few moves later, and we got a very nice knight in c4. And I don't think you're gonna plan to do something like this. First of all, in this specific case, that's happening. But wait, queen e2. What happens after this? Oh, bishop e5. I see. I see clearly. Okay, I mean, that is one way to put it. But I still don't think white gets that much advantage, but okay. All right, quite a few things have happened in this game. Bishop a3, okay. Rook b1. So finally black goes for c5, takes, queen e2. And now you have to be careful with black, because of course you would love for this trade to happen, for those two pawns to disappear, because suddenly your queen shifts over to the other side. But it's not so easy to convince them to take. Of course white doesn't want to take. They still have this b4, b5 idea. So the question is, what do you do now? Like, rook c8, just to wait. But this is the threat, which is a bit scary. I don't know. Can we put the knight here? Because, I mean, we are happy with this trade, because then something's gonna fall. So b5, queen b6 maybe? Put some pressure. That's covered. I mean, of course, we can try to get in the rooks, but... Okay. White will be up a pawn temporarily. So is there some other way we can try to improve the position with black? I mean, I guess we could try to play b6 to retreat with the queen, but this is not a move I usually recommend because this closes down the queen, right? So if you ever had hopes that your queen will make it to the other side of the board, you can forget about those hopes. Because now it's not happening. I mean, his rook is gonna make it to this other side of the board. Yeah. Any suggestions from the chat as to what white can do here? Black can do here, sorry. Rook c8 seems the most. Oh, I guess we can take. We can take. The idea is if they take, I think we have b5. Hi, Beats. You're just listening? Okay. No suggestions. You're letting me choose. Make the right or the wrong choice. We are behind you 100%. I see. Sounds good. It's good. It's good to know. This would be nice actually for black. But white can push, right? And then we don't have time to take us this. So we need to go back. Now if they take and then go b5. Then you will be pinned. Because the queen is not protected anymore, see? The difference? When there was a knight there, it was protecting the queen, but now it's not, so we can just move this knight somewhere randomly, and then the queen will be pinned, and then that pawn will be hanging. I don't know where, though. Probably here. And this is going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem for sure. I don't know, queen e2 is definitely a nice kind of prophylactic idea. And yeah, rook c8 was my choice, but I don't know if it was the best. No move yet by black. Black is thinking here. Dirk, hey, how are you doing? Long time indeed. I'm back in the US. No more travels for a while. There will be some commentary going here and on US chess. Yes, I have a cold. I was telling my chat earlier that and someone was mentioning that I sound better than before, and I was like, well, every time I stream I seem to have a cold these days. It's not good. Something is not good. Well, I returned from Europe where the weather was warmer, and Regina got an infection, so I brought her to the vet. I can bring her to say hi if you guys want in a bit. But she scared me. I thought she broke her paw because she started limping. And she just got an infection. But I thought she broke her paw, so I brought her to the emergency vet, you know, to check x-ray and everything. It's just an infection, but still is pretty bad, so yeah, she has to wear a collar. Like, not a, you know, one of those things that don't let you do anything, and she really doesn't like it. She does not like it at all. she's not a fan of that, and I have to give her medicine, and she doesn't eat much, and the only good thing about it is that we're bonding more than ever. But thanks for subscribing, Dirk. I appreciate it. It's a cold season. It's the cold season, but like I was sick for so long. Like I want to have a break where I'm not sick. But yeah, no. But Regina is. You want to say hi to Reggie? I can bring her after we catch up. That game, not much has happened. Not much has happened in this game. I mean, just development for now. We'll see if they can get something going. I mean, obviously, maybe Mark is trying to do something here. Potentially. We'll see. Let her see. She is healing. She is. She's sleeping all day. Because I have to give her medicine, and she's... she gets a lot of sleep. But it's the first time she actually wants to be close to me, which is surprising. But I was really scared. I mean, I was gone for a month, and then she yeah. I'm doing all right, Dirk. So I'm excited to do this commentary. This is kind of a cool event. I wasn't aware of this. So when I was contacted about doing commentary for this tournament, I wasn't aware that New Jersey had like such a big history of chess. First of all, I mean, I should have known, but 140 years, it's like crazy. And they've had Steinitz live in New Jersey, and then Capablanca passed by, no, Capablanca was studying there, I think, and Lasker, of course, all of those players, even Einstein came to the state. The tradition of chess is quite huge there, and of course they're supporting. They've been a huge support for Mishra becoming a grandmaster, and also they are yeah, like Einstein visited Princeton, of course, which is there. But they have a huge tradition of chess, and the grandmasters that they've invited for this invitational are very strong, known in that area, have had an impact to help promote chess and such. So yeah, it meant a lot having the opportunity to do this. So their chief TD is Mr. Edward Stephen Doyle, and he was the president of the U.S. Chess Federation actually from 84 to 87, and he also was the founding president of the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame, like when he moved to St. Louis. So they're doing a lot for chess. So it's been really great getting in touch and covering this event. So you'll see me the entire week on this. The rounds are they have double rounds, so it starts 12:30, and then the second one is at 6. Both like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday they're earlier. I think it's at 10:30 and 4. Hi, Rukhart. How are you doing? Long time no see. Yeah, I didn't get rid of the command. No, I didn't get rid of the. You made it. I thought it was hilarious. Because you will never find me on any dating apps ever. But it can be there. At least people will think that I am on some dating app. But no. Oh, Chai latte. That's a cute one. I was having fun. Yes, I was having fun. It's kind of inspiring to be able to um see the next generation of US players, how dedicated they are and how much passion they have for chess, and um, it's um, it's quite um, amazing to see how much support their parents are giving the kids to pursue their dreams and getting better in chess and competing in an international scene. So yeah, that was what I was doing and why I wasn't able to stream with my traveling. Albania's internet, at least at the hotel where we were staying, was terrible. It was really bad. Everyone was, I mean, normally it would have been a great internet, but everyone was, you know, over 700 players, with parents, like I think 1,200 people or more on the same internet. It's a problem. So I haven't been able to stream when I was traveling, but I'm back now. And yeah, you'll see more of me for sure. All right, Toast. We'll see you soon. So what have we seen here? We've seen quite a slowly start by Grandmaster Lenderman choosing the French, although I'm not surprised. Like, I was first surprised by the opening choice, but then I remember that he's coached a few talented players who are playing the French, so he's a very strong Grandmaster, so of course he's going to be familiar in a lot of openings. So he started kind of slowly, right, with the French. Didn't choose a very aggressive line, but he chose a line where he castles, and usually in the advanced variation you don't castle. So of course you have to play f6, so that, you open things up so that you don't get mated in h7. And now I gotta say I'm not sure how I feel about this g5. It looks nice. It looks like one of the moves I would make. I would want to make anytime. It's my go-to move if I can, but how ready is he for that? I'm not sure, because I'm seeing some pieces not being ready for the game, but what else could he have done? I mean, this is the worst place piece in the French. So usually the typical ideas are bishop e8, g6, or bishop e8, h5. But I guess he wanted to start with this first to play f4, and now he just wants to get the bishop out like that. Okay, that makes sense. Takes, bishop a3. Okay, rook e8, of course, and now he has the chance to get the bishop. Okay, not too bad, my friends, not too bad. How are you feeling about this? I normally say I want to play queen d3 with white. It seems like the kind of move you want to make, because you only have one bishop left. So you want to control more squares with the queen too. The opposite color squares, of course. So we're putting the queen on d3. We're escaping a potential pin here. And I think that's relatively a good square for the queen. You'd usually want to see the queen there. More than that? Okay, I don't know. Bishop g4 anyways. And this rook belongs here. This knight has to be traded. Yeah, I mean, black has succeeded very well in what he needed to do, which is get this bishop out, trade white's, or make white give up their important light square bishop. And now they are just having a pretty good position. Yeah, I wasn't fond of g5, but very, very creative idea in this position. And I don't think this can be stopped. Very nice. Okay, it's still not advantageous, but okay. And this is something you have to know. In chess, it's not only about the game that you're playing. It's not only about the position you have on the board. It's also about, like, you need to be mindful about time. It's also psychology, right? So there's a lot of psychological impacts that we tend to neglect at the beginning when we first start, because I think it's not so important when you first start playing chess. You're not aware of what the other one plays, you know, you're not aware of how they feel, you're not aware of how much time they spend and things like that. As you get to be stronger, of course, a lot of people start, you know, wanting to get to read you, to get to know more about you. Maybe you're, you know, an inspiration for them. So they start studying you, and games are available online these days all over the place. You have various ways to access them. So you access the games and you look at the player and you start studying them. So how does that preparation really happen? Well, besides studying their games, you look at how they make the mistakes. Do they enter time trouble? Because that can be, you know, affecting one. Do they react badly when they are being surprised? There's so many factors that are important when you're playing in a tournament, and this one is a close tournament, right? So it's round robin tournament. 10 players. They knew at least like a month ago that they were going to play one another. I don't know if they knew the colors just yet, but okay, usually when you know you're going to play some people, you're going to start studying them. And I feel like we're gonna see a lot of psychology playing in these games as well, because these two players have played in numerous tournaments against one another. Both of them, I believe, right now live in New York. Actually, I'm not sure about Mackenzie. He might live in New Jersey. I've noticed myself, and I didn't even play either of them that much. Mackenzie oftentimes enters time trouble, and that can be a huge advantage for Alexander Lenderman. But how is he going to use it? This is a psychological thing you have to look for as well. And sometimes just, you know, looking at the game, you might not be able to really get it, but eventually you will. Okay. Oh, look at that. My idea has happened. My idea, rook b1. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Okay. Better. So, what happened? Andrew played rook b1, and this is important because with those double pawns, there are weaknesses, but they provide an additional semi-open file for white, which he will gladly be taking advantage of it. Yes, he actually did it already. This is like a couple moves. F6 was played, the rook b5, yeah. Like I was... Ooh. Is this queen not gonna get trapped here? I feel like... Rook, bishop c1. Queen a6. Is not gonna be trapped. But the queen in a6 is gonna stay on some forks here. Important to think about. You know what other move I'm thinking about? And you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. Knight c3, 6. It's probably too much. Too much. No, it's... Queen a4 is also possible. Yeah, actually, why didn't he play queen a4 directly, though? The thing is with queen a4, I think, can't I just trade in knight d3 and your knight is kind of trapped? No, because he's kind of trapped there, I guess. So when you go there, maybe I have here or something? Or maybe not. So rook b1, f6. No, you're right. The queen a4, I don't like it, Dirkie. I feel like the trade should be benefiting. The trade should be benefiting black. Couldn't he play knight d3 directly? Why did he play rook b5? I'd rather trade the knights than the queens. Because, you know, I want an attack. Like, I want that. So if you take, or actually you take... No, I don't have time for rook there because you take. Okay, fine. I take rook b5 next. e5's not scaring me. Rook d8. Rook d8. Okay, we can almost go back, yeah? And then rook b5. Rook b5, rook h5 seems like a nice idea for white to come into play here. Okay, doesn't make a difference. So he played here, and then knight d3. Maybe it doesn't make, but I really don't know what would have happened after this. Because you have two pieces hanging, so you have to trade the queens. Not even realizing it. Dirke. You opened my eyes to the scary idea of queen trades. Yeah. Okay, so a small nuance, big not good. Not good. Okay, so he missed it, but now we're lacking white, yeah? I mean, no trades. I don't think you have time for this anymore. Now I will take... No, this knight is kind of trapped. Okay, you want to take here. This is an option. That is an option. Actually, this looks nice. Because what do? You have to take, you don't have rook b8. Okay. No, this is... It helps black develop, but you win a pawn, and you're winning a second one. No? You wouldn't play it? Okay, so we can come up with something different. But I mean, it is 2 pawns. And a very active rook. And you don't have rook b8. I mean, yeah, normally I wouldn't say to take it, but here I just feel like this is looking quite good, in my opinion. Yeah, it's looking quite good for white. So this is the position, right? If that doesn't work, what else are you gonna do? A6, maybe, to get rid of the rook? So that at least you don't switch over. I don't think I can sack the exchange, so I'll go back. But now, okay, b7 will still be hanging later. We're threatening to take and take in b7. It's not just about b7, it's the fact that if that bishop is gone, this might be hanging too. So unless they have some e5, but until we take there, he can't go e5 in my opinion, because we have this check. White's position is really good in that game. Uh-oh. Wait. Oh no, there's no winning material. Oh, they went on this line. Okay, takes. Ah, he didn't take. He didn't take back like that. I guess he wasn't... Yeah, white will stay up a pawn, of course. So what did he do? Queen b6, okay. Yeah, you have to move the bishop. Makes sense. Did he have to? Could he have played rook b1? But then probably takes. And who's better in this position? Black has the bishop pair. Probably a slightly bit black. This pawn is probably weaker than this one, I'd say, maybe. Although, nah, about equal. So they chose to trade like that. Still, black has the bishop pair, c4, okay. Okay, so now we have at least pawn structure imbalance, if I can call it that way. 95. Okay, so this is fancy way to trade material. Queen b7. Okay. Whom do we like in this position? I like white a bit more. Better rook. I don't like this bishop, even if, you know, from far away, but it stops the king's exit. We do want to move it to make sure we don't stay on a back rank, but other than that... But how can white progress? I mean, if they could make 2 moves at once, like in dice chess. So in World Youth Championships, I was the head of delegation, and they had this side event in the day off. It was called Dice Chess Blitz, and everyone thought it was a Blitz tournament, but it was dice chess. So apparently this has been invented for a while. So it's 3 dice. You get 3 dice and you throw them. On each dice you have one of the pieces, and you make 3 moves, actually. In one move you play 3 pieces, if you can actually play 3 pieces. And it was really awesome. The purpose of the game is not to checkmate the opponent's king, because obviously with 3 moves you might be able to, but to capture it, actually. So I guess I still have some habits from that, because there, if I would get a rook and a queen, there's a bit of luck, but, you know, a rook and a queen, do something like that, or maybe something like that. But obviously, this is regular chess. We need to remember, it is really fun. It is amazing. I need to get in contact with some of, to put the put the creator of the game in contact with some of my friends in the US to get it popular in the US a bit too. I think it would be really, really fun. So yeah, like queen c5 maybe is an option. Queen a5, I don't like it. Texas machine gun, hey, how are you doing? Knight f4, knight c5, you think? But knight a4, I mean, can't I just... It does involve a lot of luck. Yeah. Which I don't have any. I have no luck. Knight a4, knight c5, okay. But, you know what they say. When a knight goes to the edge, the other knight goes to the center. I mean, if you want to trade it, sure, I'll take. But if you don't... then you don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I want to go there. My idea was if I go here, I want to go there, trade queens, get the rook in, try to get this, you know. And obviously, eventually, advancement of these, kind of like in a Grunfeld improvement. That was my idea. I don't know if it's good. Queen c5, queen c7. I mean, also, if I could do something like this, but probably I can't. This is rook c8, probably. Like, if I had all those moves. But this is annoying. Very annoying. Unknown guy, hey. Doing alright, how are you? I'm sick as always. My streams have become about me talking how I got sick, I think. Yet still showing up. Okay, we'll see if queen c5 is played. I think this is kind of an interesting idea. Of course, I see your point with knight there. It is a piece that needs improvement for sure. Just finished midterm. Oh, there's a Leeches meetup? Where are these meetups? Everyone has meetups. I didn't even know there were meetups. Okay, next. Okay, so what happened in that position? Because I was really interested to see how Grandmaster Barbosa was gonna keep like queen c6. Okay, so we were talking queen c6, right? We were talking trades also, but I was suggesting this knight moved and then take, and I was not happy about this situation. And I was suggesting rook c8 also, but he went queen c6. I thought rook c8 is helping black a bit bring a new piece into the game. Queen c6 is actually quite interesting though, because it supports the knight to go to e4, I guess. Lee fires. Maybe it's COVID again. I heard that it's spreading again. Who knows? Hopefully not. Whatever it is, the worst day has passed. It was 2 days, and the past 2 days have been the worst. It started on Monday, and then yesterday was very bad. I don't know how I survived yesterday, but thank goodness I survived. Yeah. 94, 95. Yeah, this is rather unpleasant. Rather unpleasant. Thanks, unknown guy. You make some good dinner. And good luck in your next midterms if you have any left. I don't like this position for black. So he's gonna lose the pawn in e3, in e4 anyways. Might as well just play e3, right? I'm thinking. Five to go. That's... You know, just hope he will take and then try to have some sneaky ideas. You can't go on any of those squares because of knight g3. So, which one of these two would you choose? And of course, I can defend with knight h6. Regardless of, I mean, you will take, of course. And then I go in here. Okay, well, I found at least something. So, he can take. Oh, rook e3. You wanna be that fancy, but it's still, like, rook e3, knight takes. You still have to take with the pawn because there's mate. I mean, was it worth it? I don't know, maybe. Can they play g6 now? Yeah. But okay, you can just take it directly. At least you have double pawns. If only I can get rid of this knight to go queen e4. If only. Okay, so how do we protect g6? Right? What else? And then I want something like that. I mean, yeah, it's a slightly uncomfortable position for black, but maybe he'll survive. Yeah, I agree. Pawn down is a pawn down. And no, not too much compensation, but double pawns. I mean, that will have to be enough. It will have to. Okay, so we've seen some improvement here at least. Okay, okay. Advance. '96. Oh, allowing this capture. Interesting. So for whom is this capture better is the question. Is it for white or is it for black? For knight? Oh, no knight. I thought you said for knight, and I was like, what? No, I was asking for whom it is better. Yeah, but this bishop also doesn't do much. And, you know, I guess you can try to get it. I don't know where, though. I mean, what are you gonna do if I just sit back and forth? Yeah, there's no good square for the knight. I understand. I understand that. The thing is that it's nice that white's skipping the bishop here so you don't have rook a6. Because this would have been a great idea for black. Rook a6 or rook a5, rook b5, something like that. But this bishop is very unpleasant. And there's no easy way to trade it. I mean, I was gonna suggest something like this and this, but then there'll be b4, so that's an issue. I guess it makes sense to play knight d6. I mean, yeah, he's gonna take it. I'm sure he's gonna take it because I don't think you want to allow the knight in e4. That will be unpleasant. With c3 being weak like that. We can have some attack. Oh, what? They already drew? Come on. And I thought this game was gonna be decisive. I was talking about Alex's extra time and psychology and everything. I was inspired. Alex. I mean, I'm not rooting for any of these players. I'm not. Commentators should not have favorites. Or maybe they should. Who knows? But even if I did, I wouldn't tell. Well, only if it's someone that you know that I said in the past I'm rooting for. Okay, so they traded the rooks. And they offered the draw. How do I feel about this is the question. I mean, it's gonna be opposite color bishops. We can agree on that. However, which one of these two pawns is more dangerous? Probably the D one, because this one can be easily blocked by the king. Plus, there's bishop f5. Maybe he thought after bishop f5, knight b4, trade, and this was gonna be a draw, because go here, and then... Yeah, okay, I see why they got a draw. Wait, would this be like so easy of a draw? If this were to... Maybe this wasn't gonna be what would happen, but... White has a mate! Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. Bishop f5, knight b4. I think this is kind of unpleasant, this idea. Because, of course, with black, if you're trying to play for a win, you can't trade rooks. If you trade rooks, it's opposite color bishops, no extra material, no nothing, it will be a draw. So since white takes the file first, okay, it makes sense. They reached a position that was relatively balanced, and was queen g6 the best? You said bishop f5. Did you say bishop f5 here instead of bishop takes e5? And maybe here it wouldn't make sense. Because then the c file is not going to be... Because now you cannot do this, because I think... wait, I can't take it. But maybe I can take it rook c8. And now it is black that gets activated. I can't let him take on c6. Why is that so bad? Well, now he gets knight b4, then, you know, it's just a trade. But I have the bishop pair up. I'm losing it the next move. Goodness. I'm not, actually. Not just yet. Hmm. Okay. Maybe you don't go there, maybe. But if you protect, I mean, I want to take, you will take back and then I'll take. It will be bishops of the same color. Rook d1 when? Here? Mm. Thing? Take? Wait, you don't lose a piece, or take on f5 here? Okay, I mean, I would play for a win this for black. I mean, I'm the one with the extra pawn. Not extra, but like pass pawn. You don't have a pass pawn yet. I'm liking my pass pawn. Maybe rook e8. Yes. Still a game to play. Oh, actually, wait, I'm threatening d3. I can't do that. I'm threatening d3, d2 now because of the mate. Oh, yeah, don't I win here after d3? Hi, Sarhana, long time no see. How are you doing? No, this looks a bit scary, I think. Yeah. No, you mean here? But you're stuck. Like, if black is this position, you're out of moves, right? You can only go back and forth here. Maybe I can just play g4. Bring my king somehow here. g3. Yeah. I mean, this is a nice position. Of course, it doesn't have to happen to it. I mean, but I don't know. Obviously, both are very strong players, and they felt there was a match to play. It's not often that we see, you know, this many strong tournaments, like with all GMs playing. Of course, US Championship, but like, so it's really nice to see this tournament being organized again. 140 years of chess history in the United States, in New Jersey. Be sure to read more about the tournament and what they do, and everything that is happening in New Jersey with using one of those commands. Hi there, North Carolina 10. How are you doing? Good to see you too. Hope everything is going well. So yeah, so my approach is maybe, you know, for me, I would probably try to play some more personally, but of course, after the trade, likely we're going to lead to enter into an opposite color bishop endgame with rooks, but white does get the c file, which gives them a lot of potential for a draw. Let's catch back up with a couple, and then maybe I'll take a short break. Maybe make myself some tea, because I need to get a bit of tea. So what have we got over here? E5. Wait, we stopped over at this moment. Okay, so the knights got traded, queen c2, yeah. So he went back to b3, interesting. I was thinking some potential attacks, but I guess there's probably nothing here. g6 or f5. g6. Alright, Texas Machine Gun, hope everything's good with you. Yeah. Where do you go? That's the problem. Okay, so rook b3, queen. So he's attracting f5. I'm just not sure why black didn't play it. I mean, obviously, I mean, it makes sense why he didn't play. He didn't want to weaken this pawn, but I'm just like, I'm just not sure why he didn't play it. I don't see anything super concrete. I don't think this works. Or maybe that's what he wanted. He probably thought if he plays f5 takes here, and if he takes in c4, then rook b4, and this queen will be either trapped or something like that is gonna happen. And he will be in big trouble. But who makes me take here? I can't. This rook is a... Okay, let's trade it. Rook c7. Ah, I found an idea. Okay, still not ideal, but at least, yeah. Okay, it's hard to play f5. I understand it's hard to play f5 here. But, okay, if he played king f8, wouldn't it at least make sense to take this pawn? At least let him take here and play king f8? Wouldn't you guys say that this makes a bit more sense than to play king f8 directly? I mean... Or maybe he wanted after king f8 if this... I don't know what was the... Okay. But White is like, no, I'm not giving you that pawn. I'm doing my queen. Oh, he also had this. This is gonna be not very fun for black. Of course you can't take because of this cute mate. Queen e8. But look at this position. This is exactly what white wanted. Black's king stays on mate, so now we can envision a queen making it to one of those squares. Maybe sometimes f7 too is gonna be mate. If you ever push this pawn, it's gonna be mate. Okay, you're threatening the bishop, so we need to move it. Okay, can move it, bring it to b6. This is hanging. Not looking good for poor black. Not looking good. And he also has only 1 minute. Oh, yeah. It's not looking good. Oh, check it out. Queen c5 was played. Ah, but f3, not queen c7, which was my idea. Okay, f3. But from that position, I feel like white is slightly better now, guys. Because there's still not activity with this rook. This bishop is controlling a lot. White's been able to defend, so now this rook has to move somewhere to push e4. And white's better. There's no easy way to support the passed pawn, of course. So if white's going to be able to support his own passed pawn, that's going to be an issue. Okay, we had looked at this position here, and white decided not to take after knight d6, he played knight d5. Okay, so we have some relatively, you know, balanced positions. I mean, besides this game where I think white is very close to potentially winning, and here I'm starting to like white better. I think those two remaining games are relatively equal. So I'm going to take a short break. We'll let you with this game because this is, I think, quite an interesting one. I'll just cut the camera for a bit, and I will be seeing you guys in maybe like 5 to 10 minutes while I brew my tea. So hope you stay close, and see you guys very, very soon. Hi guys. Yes, Sabina has emerged. She's back. Hi Bonzo. Hi Cormac. Hi Normal. Good to see you as well. Thanks for stopping by. So, been doing commentary. I will be doing commentary for this 140th Anniversary Invitational that they're having in New Jersey. It's a very interesting tournament where they've invited top only Grandmasters, 10 Grandmasters in a round-robin tournament. All of these Grandmasters have had an impact in the development of chess in New Jersey in the past. I don't know how many years, so it's exciting to be a part of the tournament by being able to commentate it. And I apologize for being a bit sick. I'm recovering. I was perfectly fine when I came back from Europe last weekend, but clearly weather change has had an impact on myself. You forgive me. Thanks. I'm glad you forgive me. So anyways, you hope. Thanks. So anyways, trying to recover. I'll be here with all game analysis. This is just round one. Looks like this position is it's changed a lot since I left. It's probably because Grandmaster Road is really a long time. Really long time, so we know Andrew is fast in general, but hopefully he doesn't miss any conversional chances for himself. I mean, that king in e8 cannot survive long. How did they? Rook b6. Okay, so dominating. He's not even trying to win material. They're just trying to dominate the board. Bishop f5, giving b7 just to develop a new piece. I appreciate that. White doesn't take it. Now he takes it. And this is the current position after bishop d5. Yeah, it's tough to get out of this one, but I just feel like really there's nothing better here. g6. There's nothing better to keep that king restricted for longer. What do you guys think? So he checked. Okay, queen h6, queen g7. So obviously you don't want to do that. Queen h. I wish you could play c5. Well, I guess this must be enough advantage. There must be enough advantage there, I think. Right? For white. Bishop d6. I mean, you want to push that pawn. You can't go to b1. I don't think he wants to trade the light square bishop. Bishop b6 seems a bit unpleasant, I think. He can win another pawn. I don't know if he wants to, but if he could win it and then somehow trade a bishop and then connect 3 pawns, that would be brilliant. Okay, it's not easy to do, but that's an option. Okay, g4. Okay. This this game is finishing faster than I thought. Okay, now black loses a bunch more material. Okay. This game will be over shortly. This is actually a very nice game played by Andrew. Looking back at where the weakness was from black's side, probably that knight d7, knight c5 idea in this position, because I think there were some games played until around this point. I don't know about queen a5. Queen c7 is usually another placement for the queen, because then if you go bishop here we have this g5 idea, right? So that could have been a nice deflection, but maybe this whole idea of trading the knight was not so good. But you cannot develop the bishop in c8. I mean, that's why I would have liked queen c7, because it wouldn't have allowed bishop f4 because of g5. So okay, you still have to go rook e1, let's say, and then maybe try to get rid of the knight, because again, bishop f4, I think. Okay, not g5. I think this game is over. Knight h5. Okay, so the game did finish after g4 with the resignation. Nice game by Grandmaster Andrew Tang. Definitely. Definitely one of my favorites in this round. He played the classical opening, this queen c2 line. It's this specific system that he chose with g3, and here to allow knight e4, knight takes e3 is really like a much older system. So he kind of rejuvenated, I think, this line. Potentially we might be seeing even more games in this, who knows, but it's definitely it's been my favorite so far, plan wise, playing with double pawns, but having them, like, using them as a strength, not just as a weakness, because they restricted the development of black, and then he brought in his pieces. I think there's potentially one move order that we were discussing earlier that could have had an impact in the game. So this is probably an inaccurate decision, because it did allow black to go queen a4 and trade the queens, because now both of these pieces were hanging. So now, you know, if you trade the queens, I think black is kind of surviving. Because what do? You go back, and then, I don't know, a6 or something. a6 will capture here. Black will be able to come back into the game. But like this, the way things went, white went back to knight d3. So what I was saying is the correct approach we were discussing was knight d3 first. This way, we're forcing the trade. Knight a4 directly wasn't working because we could trade. And this endgame was different because now we actually could capture in b7, deflecting the bishop from this pawn. So black would not just lose the b7 pawn, he would lose 2 pawns. But after that, like, he played very, very inspiring, attracting some weaknesses from his opponent. F5 wasn't played, and now he just took advantage of all the weaknesses created and dominated the... I mean, black was struggling with both light and dark squares, which is crazy because he has the bishop there, so, like, how can you struggle? But I feel like he did, and yeah, it was a very good game. So we have 3 games remaining in the tournament. The Lenderman Mackenzie Moeller did finish in a draw. And this one, I guess the queens got traded off earlier. So I started liking white in this position. I mean, this is the kind of structure you are getting from the Grunfeld. And I think if black doesn't manage to somehow trade these 2 pawns off, it's gonna be tough. Okay, he's pushing the A pawn. But how much? Hi, Denny. Yeah, it should be on the live. No, it's not on the live. Live command. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's a tough game for him, first one, Denny. Yeah, this is a really amazing tournament. That being able to pull so many strong players from the New Jersey, New York area who have had an impact in the development of chess in New Jersey, I think is quite awesome. That link should work, right, Denny? I had to change it a couple of times, but it should be correct. All of these names that you see, all of these players are definitely players you want to Google if you don't know their names and look into their chess careers, because they've had great, I mean, it's kind of an interesting mix of older generation somewhat and then newer generation, but all of them great players and currently also coaches continuing their legacy to inspire other players, youngsters in the area to improve. I think I do not know where each and every one of them is teaching, but it's definitely in the New Jersey, New York area, and you can find more information about them if you Google them. But there's also information on the website. So the website I just posted, you can read about the tournament. And I was told that at the end of the tournament, they might actually be publishing something about, you know, about the tournament, like the different games will be annotated, and then they're going to talk about the different impact that the New Jersey State Chess Federation has had on the development of chess. And of course, they're big supporters of Grandmaster Mishra, the youngest Grandmaster out there, right? Guys, you need to understand sometimes it's hard to keep up with the level and all the information that's being provided. Sometimes we make choices in our lives. We choose to continue playing. Some people choose to continue playing professionally. Other people choose to become educators. When you have to actually make a choice, you slowly lose the the stamina for the game. Sometimes all of us are going through that. All of us will at some point. So the ratings are basically, you know, just numbers. That doesn't take away from someone's title the way they got there. In order to get there, you need to have 2500. But with time, some of us do lose a little bit of the rating. So yeah, it's just it's a part of evolutionary process. New kids are coming. They're getting our rating. There, I said it. I actually don't know. I haven't checked if these ratings that are showing here are correct. They're FIDE, official FIDE ratings. But you can be sure that at some point in time they had way over that 2500 rating that you are. It is just unfortunate the level. I disagree. You think 2500 is higher? What do you mean by that? You think it's more difficult these days to get to 2500 than it was before? Or you think it's easier to get to 2500 these days? I think there's much more. I think there's much more tournaments being organized these days. In the United States, there's more federated tournaments. Before there weren't so many. And there's so many more people who have a rating. So when I started, and I'm not that old, but when I started playing, you had to be at least 2000 level in order to be able to have a rating. These days, what's the lowest? 1000 or 800? I don't even know. The FIDE kept dropping the bars, so now everyone gets a rating. And you know, you get to play against someone who is maybe just hasn't played many federated tournaments, is 1800 FIDE, let's say, but their USCF is actually 2200. One small mistake and suddenly 20 points gone, just like that, you know. So it's really like a matter of a lot of things have changed, not just the computers. A lot of things have changed in the world of chess. More tournaments, more people, more access to information, lower ratings. So, you know. Hi, Casual. How are you doing? I know. It's been a long time. My trip to Europe, I haven't been able to stream at all. It's been very, very packed. And then when I finally would have had a bit more time in Albania, the internet was crashing after 5 seconds, so it was not possible for me to stream. But I'm back now. You'll be seeing me the entire week and more after. I don't plan on traveling much the next few months, so I will be back to streaming. Hope you're doing well. I've recovered and I got sick again. And Regina is sick too, Casual. So we are two sick girls trying to support one another to get better. Okay. Not gonna comment on that. Wait, we got another draw. And I did expect this game was gonna end in a draw. We did expect it. And it was going that way. It was going that way. No offense to any of the players. I'm more of an aggressive type. So they went for this line of the Berlin, where a lot of pieces get traded. Black has to move the bishop away. Oopsie daisy, sorry. Black has to move the bishop away to get the rook out and the queen, and then this knight eventually has to go right for the d pawn to be pushed. But this allows a bunch of trades to happen. Queens got off the board relatively, like not relatively, immediately, and now Black has attempted some kind of advancement on the queen side, but it wasn't that easy. And actually here, I thought White could consider bishop takes d6, but it wasn't gonna lead too much. And I guess they agreed on a draw in this position, which seems kind of rather okay, makes sense. GM norms used to expire. Currently, they do not. Why do you want GM norms to expire? These players are all Grandmasters, full-fledged. They don't have norms. I mean, they had them, probably. They needed them at the time to get their titles, but yeah. Okay. So we got 4 players with half a point. Grandmaster Andrew Tang won. It was a nice game. I know Danny was on stream. So stuff. His dad is very known Grandmaster Michael Rode. Unfortunately, it was a tough game for him. Also because he got much lower on time, and I feel like he would be familiar with this opening, but it was hard to come up with a way to get this bishop out. And that was the reason why, in the end, his opponent outplayed him. Going back to this game, we haven't seen in a while, actually. I thought we talked about... we talked about White being up a pawn. So what happened? Because now White is up 2 pawns. So what, this trade was not so good, or what? Oh, because he didn't trade. Why didn't he go queen e2, though? Do I think Andrew Tang will become 2700? Great question. I don't know much of what he's doing these days. I had the pleasure of interviewing Andrew last year after he won the US Open, and I understood that he has a job, and he took off to play the US Open, and then he took off to play the US Championship, but to my understanding, he has a full-time job. So I do not know if chess is still his #1 priority, or not. If it is, then definitely he can. I think he's very talented. But I don't know if chess is his, maybe we'll get some interviews on site. Definitely be sure to follow New Jersey State Chess Federation on their social media accounts. They might be posting things there, or on Twitter, well, X. But if they give me any interviews with the player, I'll certainly be posting them. And, if any of them wants to join the stream at some point after their game, happy to have them join as well. But at this moment, I wasn't told anything of that kind. So, at least so that we can know, right? If he's focused on chess, yes. If he's not, that's my answer to you. If he's focused on chess, definitely. If not, it's hard to do two things, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. What do I know? I wasn't even close to that level. So I like queen e2 here, though. I think this would have been a nice choice. I wouldn't give the c4 pawn because this queen is very unpleasant. Ah, no wonder he was trying to trade it. Okay, but now Black has no more problems, right? Yeah, he got that pawn back too. So he got these 2 pawns back like so fast. Okay, this game is likely to end in a draw too, potentially. I feel that if Black starts bringing the king and these rooks get traded, Yeah, okay. This can end in a draw. This I feel for John. Because... Very nice Grandmaster, by the way. Grandmaster John Fedorovich. The Fed. He's known as the Fed. For friends. A5. Why did he play A4? He thought it's better to move the knight back than to allow him to take with the bishop. I guess it makes sense. So he had something planned after this? Like what, E6 or... So why couldn't he play E6 now? Maybe same thing. Yeah, but he never got E6. I'm just worried about his bishop in F8 never coming into play. White looks pretty good in this position. Would you guys agree? I'm just... Those ideas at some point are very unpleasant. I don't know, H6. But like, can we just take, rook B7? Or D6? Or bishop C5, actually, even better, bishop C5. Black loses this pawn instantaneously. I don't see a defense for black here. I think it's not good. It is not good. What is your prediction, guys, for these two games? And this looks already won by white. But I'm actually surprised time-wise. I mean, I know Grandmaster Max Delugi, he's known to be a really good blitz player. But I didn't think he enters time trouble. Well, it's not time trouble, I guess. Ah, I know what happened. They didn't get their 30 minutes. That's why it looks like he's... I think they didn't get their additional 30 minutes. Because they started at 6. They started at 6 p.m. Approximately 6. There's no delay. So... 3 hours. Almost. And... yeah... Yeah, I guess he didn't go knight f8, he just went bishop c5 first. Okay, he still wants to. Apologies. DGTs look hard to set up? What do you mean, Cormac? What do you mean they look hard to set up? The boards? I mean, how? I mean, these days, I mean, yeah, you need some cables, you need to connect them. I don't think it's that difficult, but if you know it, I think it's becomes like a routine kind of thing if you know how to do it. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know, it takes a little bit of time. But if you know, if you've done it before, I think it's relatively easy. I would be more worried to connect them to leeches than not, you know. So I rook c7 now, protects the bishop. I mean, he didn't want to take the pawn, so now he has to hold on to Hiria there. Rook c8. Actually, how is he gonna win now? Because black's gonna play king f7. Oh wait, is he gonna play e6 and then bishop here and then d6 c7 or something like that? That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. Okay, these players are on move 34. Okay, it's hard to imagine some progress here. This is weak and this is weak. But okay, if you go rook there, I have knight c4. I guess you can go knight d2 first. But then maybe I can just back and forth repeat. If you go rook g8, I think I can play g6. Yeah, I think this game should end in a draw. But this one is really tough because look, like if you go king f7, right? I think I can check you. Or maybe not immediately. Maybe I go back rook c8. So if he goes here, I go rook c8, you do something, I don't know, something. Check. You have to go there. Well, but if you go there, I take, right? It's GG. You have to go here, check, back, and this, I think, is game over, right? This looks very sad. It's a tough position for black to defend at this point. But he was doing so well, Fed. I thought he was doing so well. He had a really good position out of the opening. Okay, this got happened, and okay, I don't know why he went back to d8, but okay, why he didn't keep his queen here somewhere? Or maybe not there, maybe here? He also has bishop e4. Okay, fine. He went back to d8. I mean, this seems like a waste of time because this rook got stuck, but okay. And then, didn't he have the opportunity to trade something? So he traded here, and didn't really like this. I feel like knight e4 should have been played. Knight e4, just bring the knight on a better square. The queen, we don't know where we want it yet, but we're controlling some squares. We want to bring the knight there. If you trade pawn takes, go away knight. It keeps the knight out of play. Brings you pieces, I don't know. Seems nice. In my opinion, this seems nice. Okay, this is not a blunder. I'm not even sure where the blunder was, but just out of nowhere, it just seemed like white is just slowly improved. Maybe this was bad. Because he traded the knight and opened up the bishops, now he doesn't even get rook b8. Maybe rook b8 now, because this was the only moment he could actually do it. Yeah, what do? You go back? Oh, wait, rook c8, wait. I'm gonna win some fish. I don't know how, but something. Oh, wait, I'm winning this. Guys, what am I missing? Help me. Rook b8. Knight f7, king f7, bishop b8, but that cannot be good, right? Like, only if I can keep the bishop, but like, if I do this, then I give that. No, this cannot be. Rook b8. What does the engine say here? Because, like, knight takes g6. How is this different? Oh, queen c8 check. Oh, okay, fine. So what's the deal? What's the big deal here? Why not knight c6 when casual? After rook b8. The engine, this position evaluates as minus 0.2. So, like, equal. I would I would agree. So you're saying after rook b8, knight c6. But like, right? I don't think you have in betweens. You have this in between, but still this will be hanging. As the problem is this, that's why king f2 makes a lot of sense to be played. Like, as soon as f3 is played, he actually should have played it immediately, I think. I think he rushed with this d5. I don't know why he didn't play king here. Was there some tactic? Oh, there's a tactic! No! Ouch. Ouch. Yeah. In that line, bishop there comes in with check. These tactics. Gotta do more of forks. I just told my students to do some forks. Maybe I should listen to my own advice. I have some students who ask me every week what theme to choose and do, but I don't know if they actually do it all the time. Because I don't always see the changes in the... Nothing changed in this game anymore, so we're back to this. Yeah, so no, I mean... Okay, bishop g7 because he's... He's saying that can't happen, this can happen, but I mean, check can happen, and then check here, here, GG. You know, John had a decent position. It's just really, I guess, rook b8. Rook b8. Nothing. This is nice. And this is probably too soon. And this was probably his mistake. So rook b8. He should have played. I would have liked your move, casual, knight c6, but yeah, as you can see, it's not working. What about knight c8? Ah, but they've just like, this is annoying. Yeah, the in the Grunfeld, right? This is the Grunfeld pawn structure. I mean, they started as a London, then Black got it set up as a Pirk or whatever, hedgehog, and the pawn structure that resulted, and that's why it's so important, and I cannot emphasize on this more. If you are a player who's willing to improve, like a adult kid improver, trying to find a way to improve and you don't know how to do, look at different games from different openings, not just your own. I have the tendency to think it's just our own. That's what I thought too growing up, trust me. When my dad would tell me, Sabina, get Zurich 1953 and study that book, I'd be like, but I don't play e4. Why do I even need to study this? I'll never need that. That was my approach. And it took my dad some convincing to do it. And, well, you can see why. Because now at least I know some things that I can talk about. That's the only reason, at least, one reason, at least, I will give him an okay. No, I'm kidding. Of course, my dad was wrong in some things, but right in many others. Gotta admit it. Gotta admit it, he was right with some things. But really, it does help a lot to study games in openings, all classical stuff, because pawn structures are things you never know and they can happen, and tactical ideas, you know, they will happen to you. You don't know when or where or how or why, but they will, and you need to be ready to meet these new pawn structures. Because otherwise you'll be struggling. I'm not saying these players don't know them. Of course they know them. I mean, they had so much experience. Grandmaster John Fedorovich, I think he even played my dad, he told me. And I saw him this summer, 4 or 5 months ago at the castle camp, and we had some talks, and keeps asking me how my dad is and keeps telling me to say hi, and then my dad says hi back, and that's pretty much what we're doing every year. How's your dad doing? Good? Still good? Yes? Great. Oh, thanks, Casual. I really appreciate it. I will be back. It's a promise. It's a promise. When I'm in Europe, though, it's sometimes hard. I've had some, you know, it's been a tough few months. Being home also, like, I try to spend a lot of time with my grandma. She's getting older, and I didn't even have that much time, but yeah. But when I'm here, streams will happen. Hopefully daily. Hopefully I won't be sick. But tomorrow I'll be streaming too, so if you guys at some point are leaving tonight, just remember this tournament is a long tournament, 9-round tournament. It's round robin. All of these players that you see me commenting on are and you can see all of them. I made a comment in case you missed some of the games I showed. But all of these players are playing one another, and they play 2 rounds a day starting tomorrow. So 12 p.m. and 12:30 and 6 p.m. is when the rounds will be. And I'll be live during the entire games. As long as there's a game being played, I will be live. And Sunday, the rounds are a bit earlier, 10:30 and 4 p.m., I believe, or 3 p.m. I have it in my schedule. I always forget it. Because these days tournaments always change their times on Sunday. So it's always tricky. 10:30 and 4. Okay, I got it right. So let's catch up with what is going on here. Yeah, he did go for rook there. So what's it gonna be? Bishop f8 and allowing bishop e7, or king f7 and allowing the other line I showed earlier? What do you guys think? I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Anyways, at this point. Oh, so what have we seen here? H5. I think Grandmaster Shapunsky is trying to play for a draw, for a win. But this seems like a weakening move. Or maybe not. Maybe he's trying to get rook g8. I see. So he wants to meet g6 with h6, of course. So he wants to go rook g8, takes and push the h pawn. But this allows black some activity. And I don't think he has time for this. Check first or take? Check, maybe knight e2 take is with tempo, and then the rook can go there. Knight e2, knight f2, knight c3. Ginger tea. I was drinking this ginger ale thing. I had this ginger ale that I was drinking earlier, but I mean, this is, I should not drink. I should not drink because I don't think my voice has fully recovered from the bronchitis. I should not drink these stuff with fizz. But okay, I made myself some cinnamon apple tea. I have it. I was just waiting for it to get a bit cool down. I'm that kind of person that drinks the tea cold. Coldish, not coldish. I mean, when I'm sick, I drink it warmer, but still. Okay, now it's perfect. Perfect. And my sister made me buy Manuka honey. Apparently there's a difference between the different kinds, and I didn't buy the right one, so she bought for me this very expensive one. So I've been having honey too. I don't know if it helps. It better help. It does have a different taste, I gotta tell you, than regular honey. So if you've never tried it, is this number you need to look at. There's a number on them. The higher the number, the better it is. Gives you more energy. And it helps for immunity. I think we're gonna see a repetition here with rook d7. I guess black can go back king f8, but yeah. Oh, he went king f8. Okay, but after check, there will be a repetition. Unless white is trying to play further for a win like this, I guess, but I don't know. He can't really. Do we go knight d6 or rook d6? Yeah, I've done that. I need to buy some lemons. I ran out. I didn't actually get to restock my things since I came back, cause it was kind of crazy. I came back from World Youth Championships where I was the head of delegation for the U.S. team. It was really wonderful to see so many kids. Some of them actually from New Jersey or New York area, competing. And then Regina injured her paw. That girl. So I panicked. She's injured. I can bring her if you want to see a poor injured baby. But I don't know. I think she's sleeping. She's not moving very much. She's not allowed to. She has to wear this like collar to keep her from messing her paw. So yeah, it's been 3 days and it's not looking better, so I'm kind of scared. I mean, she's never injured her paw before. She injured it from scratching too much. She injured her nails. Thankfully, it's not broken. I mean, I think the players are deciding if they should take a draw or not here. I was actually expecting more decisive games. Okay, we had one. It's kind of tough one for Grandmaster Rhodes. Nice win by Andrew Tang. And this one is tough for Fed. Do you guys have questions about this tournament? Do you want me to tell you more about it? Let me know. I can give you more information. There's this information that they gave me, which I thought it was really cool. So obviously, like, in 1885, the New Jersey State Chess Federation was founded, right? That's why 140 years, and it's one of the most active in the country. They're doing a lot of things. Future events that they're having, I know they have a scholastic tournament coming up in November, and then all of you must be familiar with their amateur team tournaments that are taking place. So if you happen to be one of those players who can start a team and go, they usually have that tournament taking place in February every year, and it's usually like a team of 4 players, I think 2200 average. So that's a fun place to go to and play. I played in Princeton one time, I think, for Pan American intercollegiate championship. Those kind of beautiful, like, it was a beautiful location to go play in and see. I've never played in team, amateur team stuff, maybe one day, but highly recommend to consider going. They've been organizing it for years there, so it's a fun thing about New Jersey. And of course, Wilhelm Steinitz, I said this at the beginning of the stream, but Wilhelm Steinitz was New Jersey resident at the time, like, when the federation was founded. He was a resident of New Jersey at the time, so that was kind of cool. And Capablanca attended school in Princeton. Tons of other players have gone there. Most known name as a chess player recently, Grandmaster Abhimanyu Mishra, the youngest Grandmaster. And I think he's also the youngest Grandmaster to have beaten a world champion in a classical game, I think. Or the youngest player or something. It was pretty cool. And the chief TD, Mr. Edward Stephen Doyle, of the tournament, the chief TD of the tournament, he was also the president of the US of USCF from 1914 till 87. So it's kind of cool to know that. I don't know if you guys want to know anything else. How many times did these guys repeat the position? 1, 2, 2 times. Thanks, Heritage. I appreciate it. Joining the stream, the more the merrier. Please send them this way. Appreciate it. Thank you. We're not seeing moves. Question is, why are we not seeing moves? I don't know why I paused there. Edu on Discord, you should message me first. I'm terrible with Discord. I'm not the best. I need to do a better job with my Discord. I will try if I don't forget. But you should be able to join directly, I think, if you go here. If that link still works. I hope it does. I need to change the socials. Gosh, I still have Twitter? Goodness. I didn't even see that. Okay, I'm gonna change it after the stream. So, my question is Grandmaster John Fedorovich feeling bad to resign? Probably. Thanks, Casual. I mean, 2 days ago I had fever, so I was worried about streaming, but now my fever is somewhat gone, so I'm better. All right. Have a good night, Casual, and hopefully I'll see you in the next couple of days, few days, tomorrow. I'm not sure what is going on. I feel that he would resign unless something happened, because he's been thinking for 15 minutes in this position. I'm gonna send a message and find out. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe he just realized that it's... I don't think so. He's very strong. I don't think he didn't realize earlier. I hope I'm still live, and I hope this... Okay, let's do a refresh, maybe, of the Let's do a refresh, just in case. Yeah, the refresh worked. No change. Everything looks good. Okay. Just wanted to make sure because it seems a bit suspicious. Nothing has happened for a while. In either games. Now I'm worried. And this game probably could be a draw. I'll wait. Okay. That game was agreed on a draw. Okay. This game was agreed. Has agreed on a draw. The players have agreed. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it is scary. I'm telling you, it is scary. Like, maybe Grandmaster Strapunski thought he would try his final shot with h5 to have that idea, but if this rook was gonna be active, I'm telling you, that would have been bad. But this, no. But what about this game? I feel bad. I'm telling you why I feel bad, because in chess is tough. Chess is tough for all of us. Specifically, when we play a game, we've played well, most of it, we don't know where we messed up, and we suddenly slowly get into a worse position. And we don't realize it until suddenly we realize we're lost. And it's hard to accept it within ourselves, to accept it that we are lost, we messed up. It's very hard to accept. And until we make peace with ourselves that it's fine, it's over, it's gone, you can't change it, we will sit there and get our thoughts together until we're fine, and then we will resign or we'll make some move or something. But I can tell you it's very difficult. In many years that I've played, I've had a lot of moments like that, and I remember my mom would often tell me after the game, Sabina, why did you stay there all the time to suffer in a tough position when you knew you were lost? Why would you do that to yourself? Just finish the game, resign, and come home, analyze, see where your mistakes are, and get back to things, you know? And I just would play another game the next day, and I would lose again, and I would do the same thing. I had a couple of tournaments like that, US tournaments. And I felt so bad because I knew my mom was watching the games, and my mom was in Romania, and there's 7 hours, 8 hours difference. And she would stay till late in the morning to watch my games, and I would just feel like I'm disappointing her for not being able to convert those games, or whatever. I would just lose. So I would stay there, I don't even know why, just thinking in how I was gonna make myself feel better, and then I realized there's another day tomorrow for some of us. So we need to let it go. But okay, this, I can't really explain much anymore in this position, because I already told you that, you know, no matter what black plays, he's going to end up being down a piece, because e6 happens. If you go there, we can, oh, I mean, I guess I didn't show that line. King f6, there would be check, and Rook g8, if you go there, we can take, and I think now we just move the bishop somewhere, wherever we want, I don't know. And then this pawn promotes. And then if you go bishop f8, we can just take, you lose. And then this other line, if you go here, rook g8, and you lose the bishop. So nothing really works here for black. Oh. Okay, so I was just told that that Fed lost, so probably he resigned here. Okay, it was just a transmission thing. All right, well, that's good to know. At least I know. At least I'm not gonna stay here until the result shows. Maybe it will never show. Maybe we'll be here till the morning. But no, I need to rest to make sure that tomorrow it's less running noise. But anyways, let's review what happened today. So once again, I'm very excited to be back streaming, doing commentary for this 140th Anniversary Invitational. It's all Grandmasters taking place in New Jersey. The 10 Grandmasters are Grandmaster Michael Rode, Grandmaster Andrew Tang, John Fedorovich, Max Telugi, Oliver Barbosa, Alexander Shripolsky, Mark Paragua, Durabek, Kamrakulov, Alex Lenderman, and Mackenzie Molnar. All of these very strong grandmasters who've had an impact development of chess in the New Jersey area. But the best game, I would say, was definitely this one, and of course I know both of the players. Kind of it's tough sometimes when you know all the players and you have to comment on it, and I'm not taking any sides, just to be clear. I'm just commenting on how the game went. So it was a very interesting queens sorry, not queens, a Nimzo Indian Queen C2 line, and this is an older variation that I haven't seen played since, like, I personally haven't kept up with it, but I haven't seen played in at least 10 years myself, but maybe there were some games and I'm not aware of. But basically the idea is that white would allow black to bring the knight to e4, but it wouldn't stay there forever, because at this point, if they want to keep it there, they have to take. In which case, they allow white to play e4, but, you know, what does white get? Double pawns. So we get a plus and a minus, right? So bishop e7, e4, d6, and this e5. All of these moves are still part of the theory, and the whole idea is that white is trying to find a way to open up this bishop, put pressure on b7, and as soon as this trade happens, black is going to struggle to find a way to develop the bishop. In the game, black played queen a5, and I was thinking queen c7 could have been potentially a more flexible move instead, although queen a5 does seem more aggressive, keeping pressure in c3 too. I feel that that is a pawn black doesn't really want to take, because it would give white the ability to put the bishop in b2 and pressure on the diagonal and get quite a bit of initiative. And the cool thing about this move is that bishop f4 doesn't work due to this cool tactical idea of g5, and there's no discoveries that white can do that would save anything. So obviously if you take, you lose material, and if you try to go rook e1 first, then maybe black can play bishop d6 and get this knight away from there. Without the knight in e5, black has the ability to go bishop d7, bishop c6, which I think is more important than trying to trade this knight. So now, for example, if you go bishop f4, g5 is not going to work, but maybe knight h5 could also help black get rid of this bishop, and then eventually develop the bishop in c8. With queen a5, I felt that white was given a bit of activity, quite a bit, not just some, and then bishop f4, knight c5, and rook a to b1. So I was feeling quite comfortable about white's play in this position, but it seems that thanks to one of my mods on stream, queen a4 is a move that I underestimated, but actually this move is very, very unpleasant. Queen a4 would have created probably would have equalized for black, this kind of idea, whether played in now or after f6, but maybe now could work the best, because now it's hard for white to find a good spot for the queen. So, and this also, you know, allows the knight in c5 to protect, and maybe we can go bishop d7 or rook d8 eventually. But after f6, white misplayed for one move, playing rook b5 first instead of knight d3. This rook b5 would have allowed, once again, queen a4, which forces the queen trade because the knight is hanging. But black missed the opportunity, and from here on, the game seemed to just be going in white's favor, because white gets the opportunity to just control a lot of the light squares, and it just gets difficult for black to develop this bishop. In the end, you do want to develop it and give up b7, but if you were to just give up b7, maybe you'd be fine. But the problem is you don't just give up b7. If those two bishops get traded, e6 falls too, and that's the toughness of black's position. And then, okay, the rest of the game was, okay, maybe had a bit of ups and downs, but it was definitely only one-sided in my opinion, because white was just simply able to eventually win b7, and then those c pawns are just, you know, easy to support. And then lastly, tactically, white was able to convert at the end with my favorite move, actually, g4. So this was the game of the round, I would say, for me. This win of Grandmaster Max Delugi was pretty nice as well, though I think it wasn't so one-sided, and it was due to an inaccurate decision by Grandmaster Fedorovich, which I've explained earlier. And then we had 3 draws between Grandmasters Oliver Barbosa and Alexander Sripolsky, Grandmasters Mark Baragua and Durabek Kamrakulov, and Grandmasters Alex Lenderman and Mackenzie Molnar. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this commentary, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for another round of exciting chess. Round 2 starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and certainly hope to see you there. I wish you all a wonderful night, and I'm gonna send you on a raid to someone. Until then, have a good rest of your night, and hope to see you tomorrow.